I mean, it's two different continents.
It's because how special you are.
I mean, I just send them a text.
Yeah. Anybody gonna be watching that? Clemson, a 2-14 Louisville team.
No. I do think
Coach should even talk, I believe. He didn't.
I still got my 1,000-point ball. And if I ever get broke someday, I'm going to auction it off. I think it'll bring a lot of money. Chris, how can Marion be 1-17?
I don't know.
They're 1-17.
How can Louisville be 2-17?
I just think.
Sorry, Austin.
Chili supper, and they're going to recognize Coach Stonebreaker during the game, and so all that's going to be exciting.
Folks, this guy's doing all this with zero notes. So he's just like throwing stuff out there.
It's involving food, I guarantee. I mean, he knew that one.
Well, I'm just trying to, I'm definitely going to have 2 bowls of chili because I'm going to make a nice donation. I'm going to have the chili. I'm going to try it.
I wouldn't be shocked at all to see a bowl up there. Passes to the left side.
We're going to take a 2-minute break. I've been known to do that.
Yeah. Well, we want to welcome those folks who are listening in Lithuania. Czechoslovakia.
Where's the
Paraguay.
The UK recruit that they can't get admitted. Where's he from?
Dubai. All those countries that John says in our opening that's listening, the 3 or 4 countries, and I'm sure to be 3 or 4 different more next week. Hello, everyone. Welcome inside the JNS Auto Sales Sports Talk live and local. We come to you each Wednesday afternoon, live here from the WAIN studios. Thank our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, and our title sponsors, always JNS Auto Sales. We come to you live on Facebook at WAIN 101.9 FM and 1270 AM. You can also watch us on YouTube. I think that's live right now. And then it is... I guess archived on YouTube as well, so you can log on to YouTube anytime. Just search WAIN. So make sure that you do that because you want to see John's pretty face. John, turn around and wave at folks. There you go. Alongside John Shelley, Scott Bennett, I'm Chris Wells, Austin Armstrong, our studio engineer here in the WAIN studios. Gents, I mean we're fully back into local sports. I mean, we have been for a couple weeks, but it just seems like, I know up at Lindsay it took a little bit longer than what's going on at the high school level, but man, we're swimming in it now.
Yeah, fully engaged, and of course the NFL starts tomorrow night.
Yes, it does.
So that adds more to the playoff flavor of Major League Baseball and then college football going strong. So if you're if you love sports,
right,
it's a great time. Yeah, because golf
Ryder Cup's coming up.
Golf every weekend. So. Yeah, I'm excited. Hey, remind me to tell you, you're talking about the country story. Remind me to tell you, I don't have to tell it right now, about the horse I ran, the first horse I started at Mountaineer Park. I kind of leaked some information that we thought we would win in several countries and 50 states. So all this money comes in on this horse, and my trainer's like, "Who did you tell?" And we really got let down. We ran bad.
So I thought that was kind of a guarantee. Did you make a guarantee on the radio?
And you know what? It was not my trainer's fault because we really didn't know what to expect. But I guess I had this notion that we were going to win. So I told everybody, "Hey, bet your money we're going to win." All this money comes in on this horse, and he's back here near the back. And so anyway,
he not only didn't win, he was back in the back.
It was bad info.
week.
Well, each week we start with the Dare County Athletics, and boy, the Indians off to a 3-0 start. I listened to some of the game on Friday. Of course, we were traveling over to North Carolina for the Lindsey Wilson game, but I was a little surprised by the score, 13-0 over LaRue.
Dogfight. I mean, it was just a kind of a in the trenches kind of a thing where both defenses played well. I actually, Scott, you can vouch for me. I actually called, but we needed an interception. LaRue was inside the 5 and getting ready to score, and I said, it'd be a great time for a pick. Actually, I said, I'm going to ask for the moon a pick 6, but we got the pick, didn't get the pick 6.
John tried to give him a pick 6, though. John said he couldn't go, and he got tackled 2 minutes or 2 seconds later.
Yeah, all at 20. But both teams, I thought early in the game, Scott, you feel free to jump in because you might disagree, but I thought LaRue County really kind of stacked the box early in the game. We tried to get our run game established. I just really had a hard time extending drives. As the second quarter progressed, I thought we started to throw it a little bit more, drove it down, scored a touchdown. And then in the third quarter, we scored pretty early in the third quarter, make it 13-0. And then when we got it back, Scott, it was kind of like, I think we figured out, Coach Stoneberger and his staff, that LaRue was going to have a hard time scoring.
Yeah.
So it was like, let's take care of the football and run the clock out. We're on the road. Let's get a win and get out of here.
And probably cost ourselves at least one more touchdown with all the penalties, honestly. And we had a bunch of silly penalties. And
yeah, something that we really hadn't seen.
Yeah, that's one to get straightened out this week. We'll get talking about this week here in a little bit, but it's been uncharacteristic so far this year. But they had some silly ones.
It's one of those games where you really don't want to be in that kind of battle, but once you prevailed, picked up the W, it's one of those you go, well, you know what? That may be good for us down the line.
Yeah, Coach Stoneberger alluded they were 0-2 coming in, but they had played hard in Glasgow, and he was quick to note, I think he's a film study guy, that they hadn't given up many big plays at all. Teams had to drive the ball against them, and there was a couple guys, Crosno, he was tough, showed a lot of toughness. He played hurt most of the game. They had a little scat back that got some carries. Jackson, I think was his name. So. But, Dare County, they were on the road, went in there, got a W, a shutout, and they move on to Franklin Simpson. That's kind of how I look at it. We weren't as sharp offensively, but again, I think you give LaRue County a little bit of credit. I think they played us pretty well.
Yeah, it's just amazing to me to see. I mean, Coach Stoneberger's got a plan going into games, but usually it takes a drive or two just to figure out what the other team's doing, and when he figures it out, it's pretty remarkable to see. And the thing that cracks me up about it, he's sitting there with his clipboard on the sideline, just flipping through it. Just waiting, just trying to find the right thing, and I'm really tickled. And as much as his offense has done pretty well this year, John, I'm just. I don't know if he's shocked is the word, but the defense has just been unbelievable.
21
points in 3 games.
Without playing some guys that I think he would like to play both ways, but I think he's weighing, hey, we'd really like to have those guys healthy at the end of the year when it really counts, kind of thing. We'll give up some plays to have those because he's got. I know Lane Grant. Speaking last year, he was just a great defender, and of course Lane's our quarterback, and he has been in there on a couple key nickel package situations, but. Coach is trying to keep those guys fresh and give Coach Cross. I know he's a defensive signal caller. A lot of credit. He's obviously those guys are stepping up, and that defensive front four. They're really making a lot of plays, and then our linebackers are pretty solid. And we hadn't given up the real deep ball except the one against Bethlehem where he said it was a busted coverage. So just been solid. They've bent, but they hadn't necessarily, giving up a lot of touchdowns.
And getting a lot of key turnovers. Like I said, when they're bending, but when they get near the end zone, a lot of times we've been getting some turnovers. We had the interception this past week in the end zone. Had one a week before in the end zone, and it's easy to see that the defense has really picked things up from last year. Now. We'll find out something this week. That's people's asked me what I thought about the game this week. We'll find out. We'll get an idea about who we are. I haven't studied LaRue a lot. I watched a little bit of film on them today at lunchtime, and they're going to.
You're talking about Franklin Simpson.
Yes, what I said.
You said LaRue.
Sorry,
yeah,
Franklin Simpson.
Yep.
Yeah, watched Franklin Simpson at lunch today, and they're going to go wing T. They got a big running back and they've got like 5 kids that's already got a rush for over 100 yards this year, so it's not just him. But they don't throw the ball a lot. But it's going to be interesting to see how we react on the road playing a district game. I'm not crazy about playing a district game this early. I wish we'd have played another non-district game before we got into it, but it is what it is.
And district, Scott was talking about the record of district teams the other night coming home. What did you say, Scott? That was
everybody but Butler County is undefeated. So and I think Butler County's either 1-2 or 2-1. So I mean, it's just been I made the comment to John, I think it might be the deepest district in the state, but then I quickly found out that I was wrong about that. I forget about the Christian Academy of Louisville Central, E-Town. That's a pretty good district. But it'll be to me, just looking at it, it's going to be important if Adair County can get lucky enough to make the playoffs to try to stay out of that 4-hole. The 4-hole will most likely be going to Union County, and they're probably top 5 in 3A. But other than them, the other teams that have come out of that district are down in the mid-20s in the rankings of 3A. So I mean, there's some winnable games there if you can get to one of the top 3 seeds.
Preview since it is a district game. Preview the district because it's a new look district. It's like you mentioned Franklin Simpson and Butler County, two newbies to Adair's district.
Basically, you added those 2 and you lost Taylor and Casey. It's kind of how it worked. Hart County and Glasgow are still in it, so it's still a 5-team district. So one of the teams will be left out of the playoffs. Only the top 4 make the playoffs, but. We go to Franklin Simpson this week and also go to Hart a little later, and we host Glasgow and Butler. So it's going to be interesting. It's funny just to see it. But the computer rankings have been out for a couple weeks, and you've got Franklin Simpson, Glasgow, Hart County, all 3 together, and all the computer rankings like 7, 8, 9, 8, 9, 10 in the rankings. Well, the AP poll came out today, and it was 7, 8, 9. So all 3 of those teams are just neck and neck. And if we can come out with a win this week, I mean, I think we'll be ranked top 10 next week. I don't see no way around it. I mean, you beat a top 10 team, and right now we're receiving votes. We received some votes in the AP poll, so it's going to be interesting. These teams haven't played for a long time. This will be the 9th meeting, and Adair County's only won one time. They used to be in the same district from 95 to 98, and then the next cycle they were they were not in the same district, and then the cycle after that, the next 4-year cycle, they were in the same district, like in 04 to 07 or something like that. And Adair County won one game and all that, but I mean, Franklin Simpson's a historical program. They've won multiple state championships, and I'm anxious to see their stadium. They got new turf down. It's the first time I've been there since probably that early 2000s when we played them then. But unless they've changed things, it's a real old concrete stadium. And obviously they got turf now, but I'm sure they'll have a good press box for it. Speaking of press boxes, shout out to LaRue County. That was amazing how their press box was. Chris had the tilted windows, so you could, I mean, the whole front glass was like tilted.
No glare.
I mean, there wasn't no glare because we took the windows out too, but it still had that look kind of where you're looking down on the field.
Sure.
And they're doing a big campaign over there trying to raise money to put turf, and that's really all it needs. I mean, they've redone all the bleachers and new press box and everything.
Very nice.
And once they get turf, they're set. It's going to be a nice place.
Chris, just a couple highlights in that LaRue County game. As Adair County wins at 13-0, Derek Grant, Lane Grant, 11 for 16, 115 yards. Did throw 2 interceptions. I rushed at 16 attempts for 145 with scoring both the touchdowns. Dakota Morse got most of the carries from the tailback spot, 11 carries for 70 yards. Ryder Rogers with 1 carry. Solomon Stonebreaker, 7 catches for 57 yards, and that's pretty much it. There's a few more. Jaden Miller with a 45-yard reception, and Ryder Rogers 3 catches for 13 yards. So Lane throwing it, running it, run pass option, getting out on the edge, the lead draw. I guess you would call it a counter quarterback draw, where he takes a step, all the action, and then he keeps it, goes the other direction. But Derrick Henry moves to 3-0.
Take on Franklin Simpson this week. KHSAA website says 7 o'clock. Is that accurate?
Yep. Every game we play this year is at 7.
Okay.
And there's only one more that will be on Eastern time. That's when we play the last game of the season at Macquarie Central, but it's still at 7 Central. That's what it's listed as anyway.
What time are you guys going there?
6:30, 6:45.
Yeah,
depends on how long our interview.
Yeah, usually Coach Stonebreaker, we try to. It's between 7 and 10 minutes, and Ty and I like to either preview the offense or the defense and kind of where we're playing, the weather conditions, that kind of thing. So usually 20 minutes prior, around 6:40 is when we go on. So
before we talk about the other Adair County sports going on right now, plethora of places to eat on the way to Franklin on Friday night.
Ty's been eyeing. There's a barbecue place called Walden's. It used to be in Brownsville. Is it Brownsville? Evanston County. They've moved it now. They listed as Smiths Grove, which I saw that. I was like, well, that's awesome. It's just right there. But it's out of the way, way out of the way. So we might have to do a mulligan on that and try to figure somewhere else out.
It's awful good. I would rank it top 3 in the state.
You basically go to Smiths Grove, turn off, get the exit there, and then go back north.
Chris, they got a sampler platter that you would absolutely love with the pulled pork, the ribs, and the chicken.
Ask him how many sides he got with that.
And
he got the family sampler last time we
went.
went.
The super sampler too. That there's a couple more meats, like 5 meats.
Why you need more meats?
Well, after the game. You got to
go box.
Yeah,
doggy,
to go box.
Doggy?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Right.
So,
John, and they've got quail. That's something you don't see every day.
I've been trying to tell you guys. This upland bird hunting, I've been trying to
Here we go.
We go to Walden's and eat quail over there, barbecue quail. I mean, it's a delicacy down south. And the way my mother fixed it's really good too. It's
getting that time of year.
Look,
getting close.
He's over there. He's kind of salivating a little bit. I can see it. He's trying to.
I got my different quail recipes, but I really like the way they fix theirs. No kidding. But I don't think there's pheasant on the menu. I think there's just quail. We're not far enough west for the pheasant.
All right, John, tell us about other sports going on.
The girls volleyball against Greene County, varsity lost 3-0. JV lost 2-0. The freshmen did win 2-0, and even though they lost that game, the girls have maintained a positive attitude. They kept working hard despite the outcomes. I thought we played our best game, and this is coming from Coach Neat, against Greene County. We just made some crucial mistakes at pivotal times in that game. Especially proud of Lily Adams' performance in this game. She really stepped up her game with 7 kills, 10 digs, and 2 aces. The volleyball team also got to go to Rupp Arena to see a top 25 matchup between number 15 Kentucky and number 10 Pitt. And she said for me and the girls, it was the first experience at a college level game venue. So it was exciting to see the experience through their eyes. I'm thankful to our booster club for agreeing to fund the trip. And they face Clinton County at home tomorrow. That's freshman JV varsity starting at 5 o'clock. So that's a little bit about volleyball. Did get an update from Nick Cole and Derrick County Boys Golf. They won last night against Camelsville, 164, or actually 189 to 164. So they won that match by 25 strokes. Junior Jagger Kemp led the way with a 37, Caden Burton a 41, and Graham Robertson a 42. And they're heading into postseason play with the SEC conference starting tomorrow. So that's an update on golf. I know they're young, but they're very upbeat on how some of these younger guys are coming along.
Anytime you can shoot in the 30s, that's good. And
Yeah,
two well on right there at it. So.
That sounds like Wells. I mean, Wells very rarely posts a 40 for 9. He's always in the 30s.
I shoot in the 30s about 3 or 4 holes, but I mean it's.
Yeah, Wells, you want to talk about your golf game?
Hadn't played in forever.
Go out there and shoot a 75 right now.
Yeah, right. All right, that's it for our Adair County. I'm going to move on from that. That's it for our Adair County segment. Again, football in action on Friday night out at Franklin Simpson to open up district play. It's kickoffs at 7 o'clock. Going to step away for a couple minutes. We'll come back. We'll talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
This is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosales.ky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
It's how sports know-it-alls know it all. CBS Sports Radio, 101.9 FM and 1270 AM, WAIN. Plus online, 1019WAIN.com.
Maximize your Wi-Fi coverage with a mesh Wi-Fi network and fast fiber internet from Duo Broadband. We've got you covered with plug-and-play mesh network extenders to seamlessly expand your network for the best total coverage. Get free installation, free first month, plus a GigaSpire Blast router and mesh extender free for 3 months when you sign up for 500 meg or higher internet. Stop by, call 270-343-3131 or visit duobroadband.com for details.
J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors are United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College, and our title sponsor, J&S Auto Sales. John, you got a fan.
Josh from Versailles. We want to shout out to you.
We never thought we'd have a fan, but apparently we do.
Is that Versailles, Kentucky? Or,
that's Versailles.
Or Versailles.
No, that's Versailles, Kentucky. That's Woodford County.
I think we could probably possibly count it as Kentucky/France. Right. Because because, I mean, that's just another country that you can mark off the list.
But yeah, Josh, if you're listening, I kind of had a thoroughbred one time. I touted a little bit too much, and he goes off at 1-9. So if you're familiar with odds, and he ran like a 35-1 shot. So that's what I was referring. That's what I was referring to.
Yeah. Let's talk a little Lindsey Wilson athletics. Men's soccer team ranked 5th in the country. Went down to Florida last weekend and had a good weekend. They lost to number 11 St. Thomas. The game ended up 3-1, a little bit closer. I mean, it was a 1-goal game till very, very late. I was watching the game, and there were a number of lightning strikes in the area. Of course, it is Florida, and the game, which was supposed to start like at 6 p.m., didn't end up getting started till like 8 o'clock. So it was a late start. And then with about a minute and a half to go in the game, and of course, Lindsey Wilson was down 3-1 at that time. Lightning reappeared and it knocked the power off, so the lights went off at the stadium, and the only thing that was on was they have a big like jumbotron scoreboard, and that's the only light you could see. It scared the announcers. Anyway, they ended up calling the game as end of the game there. Of course, again, Lindsey was down 3-1 at that time. They bounced back a couple of days later and defeat Kaiser 3-1. Kaiser ranked in the top 10 in the country, so went 1-1 down in Florida last weekend, and they were 3-1 overall. Again, the new poll came out earlier today, and they're ranked 5th in the country. Probably a fair assessment of where the Blue Raiders are. But you guys, I mean, we talked about it last year a little bit with Stitch, Cicello Butalizi, our head coach. Got off to just a horrendous start last year. They were like 1-6-2 or something like that, and then just found it at the end of the season and actually went all the way to the Final Four. Much better start this year, and he's hoping to just continue on with the progress that the boys are making right now. They play this Sunday, 4 o'clock out at Walter S. Ruling Stadium. If you have a chance, you should go. I mean, they're a good team, number one, but they are so fast. It's just remarkable to see how fast they can get around people, and just very technical as well. It's a good club, and again, ranked 5th in the country. Play at 4 o'clock on Sunday out at Wells Field at Walter S. Ruling Stadium. So if you have a chance, go out there and watch them play West Virginia Tech.
That sounds like John. That's a good description of John. Athletic and what was the other word you used? Technical.
There we go.
Chris, don't you think quickness and speed is a common thread to a lot of success? I mean, you think football, you think baseball.
Yeah.
You know, we had a team, I just remember back when I was helping high school, we won 33 or 4 games, and we didn't have anybody could hit the ball very far, but we could all run. And it was a lot of fun. We stole a lot of bases, but just put pressure on teams that can run.
Yeah.
And but football, soccer, common thread.
Oh, absolutely.
Speed and quickness.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Women's soccer 1-2 on the season. They lost kind of a shootout to a top 5 team, William Carey, last week. It was 1-0, 1-1, 2-1, 2-2, and then William Carey got the third goal and went on to win 3-2. Blue Raiders in action Saturday night against Aquinas at Walter S. Ruling Stadium, so you can go out and watch the women's soccer team play in that matchup on Saturday night. That'll be under the lights after Lindsey Wilson football, which we'll talk more about here in a few moments. Volleyball on the road tonight. They're up at Kentucky State up in Frankfort. The Blue Raiders were out in Nebraska last week. Donnie Wells, my dad, he's a bus driver at Lindsey Wilson. He drove them out there. I think he's tired. That's a long way to drive.
It is.
So anyway, it's the volleyball team in action tonight up at Kentucky State. Football, they won on Saturday their season opener 51-14 over St. Andrews down in Laurinburg, North Carolina. It was a good game from the beginning. Lindsey Wilson did give up a couple of foolish penalties, kind of like what Scott were talking earlier about Adair County. There was one botch special teams play. Punter bless his heart. I mean, again, he just did not have a good first half punting the football. I think his first punt went about 12 yards, and I'm not exaggerating. His second punt went straight up in the air, and it hit and took a St. Andrews bounce, and it ricocheted off of one of our players' legs as he's running down. He was the gunner, and the St. Andrews recovered it with a short field and ended up scoring on that play. And then their other score was off of a blocked punt where the Blue Raiders were in the end zone. So didn't give up a lot of yards. I think only give up 140 yards total in the game. Offense looked good. A lot of all the ones played in the first half. Ethan Cash had a good day. I think he was 12 of 19, threw 4 touchdowns, a little over 150 yards. Had 5 rushing touchdowns in the game from 5 different guys. I mean, that's spreading the ball around. So that was good to see. Tobias Dawson led the team. He ran for 80-plus yards and a touchdown. So he had a good afternoon. Reed Brickey had a touchdown run. Caleb Marsh had a touchdown run. That's 3. I can't think of the other. C.J. Fluker had a touchdown run, and I'll think of the other one here in just a moment. But good. David Gardner had a touchdown run. So all 5 of them had touchdown runs in the game. So it was a good opening game. 51-14. Anytime you can go on the road, John, and win a football game, that's especially when it's a 10-hour drive. It's a good day. Had our Golden Corral back at Golden Corral. Back at Golden Corral.
Oh, they got the chicken wing thing going on. Did you get some chicken wings?
Here's the thing about Golden Corral, and this is. Well, I just made Austin cackle back there. Here's the thing about Golden Corral. I don't understand. It could. I don't understand. I kind of do, but John, if you're managing the Golden Corral and I call you and say I'm bringing 90 guys.
Football players.
I'm going to put a few extra steaks on, a few extra chickens in the broaster.
Why don't you do that?
Yeah, because those guys are going to eat a lot.
You go, Coach Kleckler, every coach does this. I mean, they generally let their seniors go first, seniority. And then you let your juniors. Well, by the time you're midway through your juniors, the bar's pretty empty. And then you got everybody else standing around waiting to eat.
Once the radio guys go.
The radio guys have free reign. We can go whenever we want to. I typically wait, but this time I was really hungry. So I jumped up in the salad. I jumped in the salad bar line. There are not a lot of football guys getting up in the salad bar line. So I fixed me a salad, and by the time I had that, all really that you could eat was, like vegetables. There wasn't a lot of other things left on the bar, but I just don't get it. It's just something I struggle with.
Yeah, and it's so much variety there too. You get your Italian, you get your I guess you kind of get your Chinese food a little bit, maybe just a little bit.
Not at this one, but I've been to some that's had it.
Yeah. Do they have quail?
I did not see any quail.
And you always get your ice cream to cap it off. Always, yeah.
It's soft serve machine.
Some of them have the chocolate.
Oh, the fountain.
The fountain, chocolate fountains. This one did not. But anyway, it's just a head scratcher to me. I guess if I'm a manager and somebody says we're coming and something happens that they don't come and I fix all this food, then I'm probably up a creek. But it's just a head scratcher to me. So anyway, I digress.
So does everybody get to eat? I mean, did they finally?
Yeah, eventually. Eventually they brought it back out.
It was just kind of
it took a while.
It did not flow smoothly.
There was no flow. No, none whatsoever. Lindsey Wilson back in action this Saturday, back at home, their home opener of the season, and boy, it's a doozy. They'll welcome in the defending national runner-up Kaiser University to town. They're ranked 2nd in the country. It'll be a noon kickoff. We'll go on the air at 11:15. We'll be over on the 101.9 FM station for that one. And we're on 101.9. I don't know what I'm saying. We're on 101.9 on Saturday. for that. It's going to be a great game. Two teams have met 3 times before. Lindsay's won all 3 in really convincing fashion each time. But this is the first time Kaiser would be ranked ahead of Lindsey Wilson in the poll. A top 10 battle, Lindsay 9, Kaiser 2. Kaiser suffered a loss last week, 17-14 to an NCAA Division II school. So nothing, there as far as to be upset for. If you're Kaiser, obviously you want to win the game, but they played up in competition and lost by 3. So this is a big game. I did hear that they are driving up; they're not flying up. So that's a long drive from West Palm Beach. So kind of it's a little bit farther than what we went to Laurinburg. So should be a good game. We're looking forward to it on Saturday, and then the men's and women's cross country teams open up their season this weekend up at the Hanover Invitational. We still got golf, archery, all coming up here in the next week or so. A lot of our JV teams are in action now, so it's we're full force. Our baseball and softball JV teams.
Baseball and softball.
Yep, that's right. So all that's going on right now as well. That's going to do my Lindsey Wilson segment. Again, football in action this Saturday, 2 o'clock at the Parnell Family Stadium. Hope you can come out. And if not, you can listen to us right here on WAIN. We're going to step away for a couple minutes. We'll come back. We'll go state with college, and eventually we'll get to the NFL. Unbelievable games in college football this past week. Some more good ones coming up. And by the way, the Cubs are a game and a half out of first place. We'll be back in a minute. This is the J&S Auto Sales.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first, team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
Hi, this is Kylie McCovens. I'm a Greene County High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning my degree in Human Services and Counseling. At LWC, I've met new people, had the opportunity to become involved on campus, and I've loved being a part of campus ministry. Visit today and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Celebrating a birthday or anniversary? WAIN wants to hear from you. Birthdays and anniversaries brought to you by Betty's OK Country Cooking. Weekday mornings at around 7:20 on McKinney in the Morning. Call or text anytime. 270-384-2134. Birthdays and anniversaries brought to you by Betty's OK Country Cooking at 2339 at Campbellsville Road, Columbia.
Every 3 minutes, a baby is born with a cleft, making it difficult to talk, hear, eat, and even breathe. Help Smile Train change the world one smile at a time. Learn more at smiletrain.org/learn.
J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local. Our sponsors, TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank. Our title sponsor is J&S Auto Sales. UK U of L both picked up wins this past weekend. UK, pretty easy win against Ball State, although it was a little bit of a rocky start, I should say. Not a raucous, but a rocky start for UK in that first quarter. I know Coach Stoops after the game was not happy at all I got to tell a funny story about that here in a few minutes. But they won 44-14. Louisville with a good come-from-behind win. They beat Georgia Tech down in Atlanta on national TV. That's a good win for the Jeff Brom era begins.
It was a good win.
So let's talk first UK. Did you get to watch any of it?
I did. I thought a lot of what I saw in the first half. I think if you look at Leary's numbers, 11 for 24.
Yeah, it wasn't impressive.
It looked like communication-wise, he would throw an out and a guy would curl in. On the deep ball, it was always over the wrong shoulder. It was just a lot of checking at the line of scrimmage. He was having to bark in everybody's ear. It just seemed like it was they're really having a hard time communication-wise. Which goes back to the coordinator that we got back, and I know people in the state are very high on him. But that's things you can fix. But
I was going to ask, how much is that his first game?
Yeah,
just curious.
I think so, and I was not impressed with how our offensive line played either. But then I talked to a guy that I respect a lot, and he was there at the game, and he said, "John, I thought our defense played just really lethargic. They did not play inspired. But do you get up and for a game like Ball State? Probably weren't bringing a lot of pressures in that game.
Not showing a lot. You're not going to show a lot in a game like that if you're UK coaches. So,
but
games like this, all you want to do is just win those games and get out of there healthy. In my opinion, obviously you want to 44-14. Okay, great.
Yeah, had a couple defensive scores. Had a scoop and score. Had another, should have been a scoop and score. But
what about that official just pointing down to the crowd like that? Let that play out.
Yeah, but they didn't. I thought their field goal kicker was a bright spot.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Kicks. No doubt. And I thought Davis at running back was definitely bright. Leary, he looked good throwing the ball. It just it was a communication thing. I don't know.
Yeah, they said some receivers cut routes off and that type of thing, but.
Stuff they can get fixed.
Oh yeah. I think everything's fixable that went on in that game. It's nothing. I don't think it's like the line last year. You could tell from game one there was issues, and I don't think that they. I thought they played a lot better. You talking about the defense? I was impressed with the defensive line. I thought they moved pretty well. Some big old boys too. Deion Walker is humongous. But I was tickled with it. There were some times I wish they could have done a little bit better, but it's a win, and for the most part healthy, and except for Horsey, he's going to be out a couple of weeks. It looks like, but
I liked if you're a UK fan, I think you got to like the pass to run ratio that Cohen put out there. I mean, I think it was more balanced, and it probably would be against a team like Ball State, but it just, I don't know, you could just see that there was some excitement in the crowd with some of the throws that they had over the middle, and those receivers, you talked about speed earlier, John. Some of those receivers that the UK's throwing out there, they are lightning fast.
Yeah, they did return a kick too. Barry Brown returned a kick,
and he called a shot before the game. He was going to return a kick, and he did.
And fortunately, some of the people on Kentucky's schedule, South Carolina was less than they played awful.
Yeah,
Beamer's under the gun a little bit down there. Florida didn't have they played solid, but Florida's just not. They're not Florida. Pre-Urban Meyer kind of Florida, and then you got Eastern this weekend and another MAC team after that. So, and then Vandy, they've struggled a little bit to start. So UK should be 4-0 to start it, but you never know.
Yep. Louisville wins 39-34 over Georgia Tech and come from behind fashion. They gave up a lot of points in that first half, but they came back. I think they scored like 26 straight in the second half against Georgia Tech, put on a late touchdown. But it was a good comeback. It's one of those games where in the last couple of years with Louisville, you just expect them to roll over and go away, and then they showed some fight, and that's good for the Louisville fans out there.
And Western came back, got them a win, and good news to report. Malachi Corley, the receiver from Campbellsville High School, that they're projecting to go to the Browns in the second round. I read that today. His injury they think he's going to be okay.
Yeah.
He might even play this week.
It's concussion, I think.
Yeah, it was a hard shot to the ribs, and just precaution. They set him out. So.
SEC had a couple of bumps in the road this week with you mentioned South Carolina. LSU looked awful.
Yes. Yeah,
against Florida State.
They got bullied a little bit.
Yeah.
And, of course, Florida State, they're going to be good, but, and that was a neutral field. I first thought that was at LSU, but Travis is a really good player, and they added a bunch of guys from the portal, too.
Yeah.
So, it's going to be interesting.
Could be Duke versus Florida State in the ACC championship game.
What about the Duke-Clemson game?
Yeah. And what's y'all's opinion about Dabo basically refusing the portal? He has no guys from the portal. You all knew that.
Yeah.
He likes the farm system, bringing them up, but
he'll pay a price.
Yes, and he saw that the other night.
Yeah, I'm going to see what his attitude is next year about the portal for sure.
We got to mention Dion and the Buffaloes. How about that? That's speaking of the portal.
Yeah,
58 players.
There's more money wagered on the Colorado-Nebraska game than any game so far in the NFL for the opening weekend. I mean, it is a huge spotlight game at Nebraska.
What's the? I don't have the spreads here in front of me. What was the spread?
Colorado's like a field goal. I mean, it's tight, and kind of surprised me, really.
I bet I would say most of the money's going towards Colorado then, right?
Well, it's moved to Colorado, but they're saying Nebraska defensively is a lot better. Of course, Matt Rule, but they got beat week one by Minnesota. So,
yeah.
Be curious to see.
For Ball State, they played at UK this week. They're going to Georgia this week.
Oh, yeah.
Brutal.
Alabama and Texas. That's the premier game on the schedule this week. Who you like?
I did look at that one. That's a touchdown. Has Alabama found their quarterback? I mean, is this guy going to be the guy? He's a great athlete.
He looks the part.
He's a great athlete, can run, but, can he throw it? And Quinn Ewers, I think, is a starting quarterback at Texas. And, of course, they have, help me, Scott, the guy
Arch Manning.
Arch Manning. Arch Manning is making more money as a third-string quarterback than Joe Burrow for the Bengals. I read that. NIL money.
Yeah.
Help me. Steve Sarkisian is the new coach at he's been at Texas. But I look for that game to be tight, guys. I look for it to be tight. Texas is pretty good on the defensive side of the ball, too. What's your pick there, Chris? Put you on the spot.
I think Alabama's going to win that game. Of course, it was a tight game last year in Texas, but I just don't think you go in and beat Saban too often at Alabama. So I like Alabama, but I think it'll be a good game.
But I love games like that.
Yeah.
I mean, of course, they'll be in the same conference next year.
Right.
I'll give credit.
Is that a 2:30 game or is that a night game?
It's a 7 o'clock on ESPN.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The only other rank versus rank is Ole Miss is at Tulane. Interesting.
That's not one you consider going into the season.
That's right.
Tulane's got a really good quarterback.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah.
Pratt.
Clemson fell all the way down to 25 this week after
I'm sure
that
they
debacle.
deserve that.
They'll play Charleston Southern. You mentioned Colorado, Nebraska. Colorado moved up to 22. LSU fell from 5 to 14. I thought that was a generous spot in the polls. So
I'll tell you who else has improved. A&M, Texas A&M.
Yep. That's my dark horse win the SEC.
Yeah, they're really improved.
They are. Where are they at in the poll?
They've got a decent game. I think they're 23.
They play
maybe
Miami this week.
Yeah, they're 23. They're at Miami. That's on ABC, so that'll be a should be a good game. What did you guys think? I'm going to ask this question. What did you guys think about the ACC picking up Stanford, Cal, and SMU?
Yeah, they changed the name. It's not the Atlantic Coast Conference anymore. It's the All Coast Conference.
I just don't understand it. I don't necessarily disagree, but I'm a little frustrated because it takes me a while to figure out the conferences, and now they're changing.
It's not. They're not even conferences anymore to me.
I wish they would just go ahead and break football away and let the other sports play in the conferences they were in, and just let football do divisions or whatever they want to call it, and because it's turned into the NFL right now anyway. I mean, just let it be what it is, the farm system for the NFL, and I just hope if they do that as a Kentucky fan, they get included in how many teams they bring in.
Yeah, that's right.
That'd be the scary part about it, is make sure you get included.
Yeah. Because there will be some Power 5 schools that would not probably not be included in that.
I wouldn't see Vandy being.
Yeah,
but that's and financially, it'd be very important to be involved in that too.
No doubt.
I mean, if you take the football money away, then that'd be bad news.
We're going to ask you guys something. After the UK game the other night with Ball State, we were riding back from North Carolina, and I saw this pop across my Twitter feed. Did you see the interview with Tom Leach and Coach Stoops after the game?
Did not.
Did you see this?
It's great.
Tell us about it.
When Horsey got hurt, they brought the Dylan Ray. I think he transferred in from West Virginia, and is this what you're talking
about?
Okay. Tom Leach asked Coach Stoops what he thought about Dylan Ray's play, and Stoops just looked at him like, "You're asking me about a guard, how a guard played right after the ball game?" It was hilarious.
He said, "That is the dumbest question you've ever asked me since we've been working together." And Tom Leach couldn't stop laughing. It was awesome. It was just awesome. But that's on Twitter.
You asked me about a guard.
All right, we're going to step away for just a couple minutes. When we come back, we'll close out. We're talking a little NFL and a little Major League Baseball. We're back in a minute. This is Blue Raider. Excuse me. This is not Blue Raider. This is the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk Live and Local.
Hi, this is Cameron Smith. I'm a Campbellsville High School graduate and a Lindsey Wilson College student. I'm well on my way to earning a degree in secondary education. At LWC, I've met new people, become involved on campus, and I have loved being part of the sports programs. Visit today, and you will want to make Lindsey Wilson College your new home, too. Call the admissions office at 270-384-8100 or email us at admissions@lindsey.edu.
Have you injured yourself playing a sport or exercising? Sports medicine experts at TJ Regional Health are trained to get you back on the road to recovery, whether you're dealing with sprains, fractures, knee and shoulder injuries, or other common injuries. Our goal is to prevent illness and injury in active individuals of all ages and help prevent future problems to maximize your performance. Find out more at tjregionalhealth.org/rehab. Patients first. Team always. TJ Rehabilitation Services.
This is Matt Loy with United Citizens Bank. Although I'm very proud of all the products and services we offer, the best thing we have to offer is good, old-fashioned customer service. It may seem like banking is moving to smartphones and computers, and while we can do that too, we don't think anything can replace a firm handshake and your confidence in our word. When you think personal service and customer-first banking, think UCB. United Citizens Bank, Equal Housing Lender, member FDIC.
Let J&S Auto Sales show you how easy it is to buy a quality used car in Columbia. They believe in fair prices, superior service, and treating customers right. Their friendly and knowledgeable sales staff is here to help you find the car you deserve, priced to fit your budget. Shop their virtual showroom of used cars, trucks, and SUVs online at jnsautosalesky.org. J&S Auto Sales, here to help you find that perfect car you deserve, priced to fit your budget.
to JNS Sports Talk Live and Local in our final segment. Thanks to our sponsors, Lindsey Wilson College, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health. Guys, let's talk baseball before we talk NFL. There's some really good races out there. I joked earlier about the Cubs, who's playing really, really well, but the Reds right behind them in the wild card. As much beef as the NL Central has taken this year about how bad that division is, they could potentially have 3 teams make the playoffs of the 6.
Exactly, and huge game tonight with the Reds leading the wild card by half game against the Mariners. So that's going to give me something to keep up with tonight.
Yeah. Phillies leading the wild card. They're a game ahead of the Cubs, who's second. Cincinnati is 4.5 back of Philadelphia, 3.5 back from Chicago in the wild card. But they're a half game ahead of Miami, 1 game ahead of Arizona. The Cubs did the Reds a favor by sweeping the Giants. Yep. Giants 2.5 back, and then after that, San Diego 6.5. But it's coming down. There's only about 20-ish games left, 22, 23, 24, something like that. A little more than 3 weeks left. And at this point in time, I know I'm looking at the Cubs schedule. They play Atlanta, Milwaukee. I'm sitting here thinking, okay,
survive.
That's right. Just survive. They play Arizona. It's like 7 games, and you got a lot of teams vying for these spots. It's going to be a fun race. And this is just naturally American League same way. They've got a lot of good races. It's going to be fun down the stretch.
Yeah, absolutely. And I always enjoy this time of the year, the leading up to the playoffs and the playoffs for sure.
That's one thing going for the Reds is, I mean, you look at records anyway. I think they've got one of the easier schedules of anybody left, really.
Yeah.
Play the Tigers 3, they play the Cardinals some, and I think they can just hang in there. It's just it'll be interesting. Hope they do.
And our beloved Baltimore Orioles,
they're running away with it.
87-51. They're the best team in baseball.
What a turnaround!
It's great. Just good for them.
What a turnaround!
I mean,
good for them.
Chris's Cubs, me and John's Reds, and everybody's Orioles.
That's right. That's exactly right. Guys,
nobody's gonna touch Atlanta, are they?
No.
I
don't think so.
Unreal.
They are. Let's talk the NFL. Thursday night game, Detroit at Kansas City. It's a pretty good start to week 1. There's a lot of good games, and NFL's back. And I mean, I just got to get excited about it.
Give you an interesting stat. In the last 8 years, Kansas City's 7-1 in opening games, and 7-0 against the spread against NFC teams in our last 7. So
is it a lock like that racehorse you was telling us about?
It's not a lock. I guess you could say the NFC's do, but I think the Lions will play them well. I think it'll be a tight game tomorrow night. And I just found out it's not on the NFL Network. It's on some crazy network, maybe.
What?
The Lions game tomorrow night?
It's on NBC.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's not too crazy.
That crazy network.
I was thinking it was like Peacock or something that I don't get.
Oh, it's on Peacock too, but it's on NBC.
Okay.
Yeah. Who's your one team that you feel like is just going to surprise? I don't know if surprise, but yeah, surprise. You like the Jets?
I don't really like them, but I think they very well win the East.
It's going to be the Chargers.
Okay.
That's my surprise.
I like, and they made the playoffs last year, so I don't know how big of a stretch it is, but I like Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. I think they're in a terrible division, and I think they're going to feast on. I think they could be the number 1 seed in the AFC.
Very well. Dabo would probably like to have Trevor Lawrence back. I was thinking about that today.
Would he take him as a transfer?
Bengals they're at Cleveland this weekend.
Is Burrow playing? I haven't kept up with
last I heard he was, but now we'll see. Jacksonville's at the Colts, Tampa Bay at Minnesota, Tennessee at New Orleans, San Francisco at Pittsburgh. A lot of people like the Steelers for some reason. I will see. Arizona at Washington, Houston at the Baltimore Ravens, Green Bay at Chicago, the Raiders at Denver. That's going to be an interesting team for me. What's Sean Payton going to bring to the Broncos, and can he and Russell Wilson get along?
I'm really impressed with Wilson's preseason.
You've got Philadelphia at New England. Does New England have more than one quarterback? They still only have one quarterback on the roster.
All right,
Just kidding. Miami at the Chargers, Rams at Seahawks, my beloved Cowboys in a night game on Sunday night at the Giants, and then the Bills and the Jets on Monday night. That's a really good. I mean, you book in the Lions, Chiefs, and Bills and Jets. That's a pretty good weekend of NFL.
Yeah, I'm anxious to see how I think the Lions could win that division possibly. I really like that. They had that hard. They was on Hard Knocks last year. I love that coach. Is it Dan Campbell?
Yeah, Dan Campbell.
I love that coach.
I like it when he gets cold and his nose looks like it's going to explode.
Not sure what shade of red that is.
Yeah. All right, John, real quick. Adair County football this week.
7 o'clock will go on between 6:30, 6:40 with pregame coverage at Franklin Simpson, 2 undefeated teams, so be sure and tune in.
And Lindsey Wilson's in action on Saturday. They'll take on Kaiser. Kickoffs at noon. We'll go on the air at 11:15 a.m. for our pregame show. I want to thank our sponsors, United Citizens Bank, TJ Regional Health, Lindsey Wilson College, and our title sponsor, as always, J&S Auto Sales. For John Shelley, Scott Bennett, Austin Armstrong, I'm Chris Wells. This has been the J&S Auto Sales Sports Talk, live and local.
Okay.